Puff Comics 83. It's been a long time.
A long
3 weeks.
time.
This is the second longest break since December.
Yeah. Yeah, lot of things to do, but finally back. I know next week is another break, but for good reason, because I'm meeting the Southern Comic Geek Jason in Vienna, since he's in Vienna that week. So that's gonna be fun. But yeah, glad to be back, and also glad to be back to talk today about with a very classic giallo, Profondo Rosso di Bread, German Rosso di Farbe des Todes. And there's different versions of this movie. We both watched the longest version that's 2 hours long. And this is like a seminal giallo that ushered in a new era in Italian cinema. You can see that Dario Argento did a lot of movies before. He did a lot of gialli before, but with this one, I think this is the first giallo of his where he really figured out his style that he perfected in the next movies, especially with Suspiria, Tenebrae, and also forgetting the English title, the movie in New York.
No, we did Phenomenal.
Yeah. Phenomenal. Like, it's also great. This one is also like, especially with Jennifer Connelly. Jennifer Connelly is awesome in everything. But yeah, Dario Argento, one of my favorite directors. Profondo Rosso. I think it is some rough edges, but everything is in there that later becomes really the trademark of Dario Argento. Especially there's the signature kills of his, and nobody kills beautiful women like Dario Argento on screen.
Hey, when I watched this, I watched Suspiria, and I was like, man, he just loved these elongated kills, man. They're long and thoughtful, but I was like, damn, man, just get to the point, because you don't do all that.
There is basically there are two situations when you don't want to be anywhere near window. It's in a Dario Argento movie, or when you pissed off Putin in Russia. Because both times you're dead.
Hey, that's when we talk Suspiria, then we'll talk that. But yeah, he definitely got something to do with glass, because
that's also one of the things he really planned for this movie. And before that, he had some movies that didn't really pan out the way he wanted them to. So he went back to his roots, the giallo, and he didn't want to put in that people are just shopping guns, because he said that not everybody in the audience knows how it is to be shot, luckily. But people know how it is, to be burned or to cut by glass. So with the killings, he really tried to make it in situations with means that the audience has experienced pain in. Of course, not in the amount that you die from it, but everybody knows how it is to be cut. Everybody knows how hot water feels. So and this makes the killing scenes in Dario Argento movies so much more visceral and so much more relatable to the audience. This is also why they're so tough to watch in some cases.
Hey, the one killing scene where it's damn, that he making sure this guy got to get dental work, man, because he because he also said, of course, everybody knows is how to stub your toe against the furniture, or how you hit your head, but of course it's you can really feel it, and this is what makes Dario Argento's movies so intense. This, and of course also the fantastic camera work. Yes. To me, I love the long shots of certain scenes. Like he is a master of doing long shots that draw you in, and then just back out for another shot that you think something's gonna come out of it, but then it's a twist and it comes out another spot.
And what I also really like about Profondo Rosso is that, you know, when you watch the movie and pause it, you actually already know who the murderer is very early on.
Yeah, you know, and especially the further you get, like, I know who it is. But then he throws a little twist in there to say, well, it's this person, but it's not this person.
I know, but there's like, you know, the one scene where basically you see the murder in the mirror, and especially in the 4K version.
It's highlighted.
It's very highlighted. Of course, you know, when the movie came out in cinema and when you watch it on VHS, because I still remember watching it on VHS when I was in business school, when I was a teenager. Of course, then, you know, you had just like like a face, and it could have been anybody. But in 4K, it's basically like, it's like, yep.
That was the clever way to hide the murderer right there in plain sight, with her standing in front of a bunch of a painting with all other faces, and she's standing in the mirror. You think that mirror is the painting? Yeah,
the aesthetics of a Dario Argento movie are always, you know, fantastic, and especially also like here how like the blood is used. Of course, like the blood is also like the title of the movie Deep Red. And you know, when the protagonist, like daily, like, you know, when his face is mirrored in the blood, it's just like one aesthetic style. This is also it's also like the picture they use for the soundtrack and soundtrack by Goblin. This is I think the first time that Dario Argento worked together with Goblin, because originally, you know, he was to work together with the composer, but he didn't see that the Italian composers of this time, even Ennio Morricone, like Dario Argento had problems working together with Ennio because they totally had a different vision. So he was saying, no, this is not it. So then Dario Argento went to London and talked with Pink Floyd. Hey, you want to do like a movie? Pink Floyd is like, no. And then he's like, well, let's look in Italy. And then he had like the contact with Goblin, the progressive rock band, and they immediately were like on the same level, and the rest is history. You know, this is how Goblin became one of the most iconic bands in movie history.
I'll say this: in certain situations, when the Goblin music starts to kick in, it can be distracting because that music is so damn good that I'm just like, it's like, it's music like, oh, somebody's about to die, let's go. I was like, it's kind of distracting me. Instead of building like a tense feeling, it's like, oh yeah. Let's
I still think that the Goblin's work in Suspiria is my favorite.
I like the Suspiria Goblin music.
Yes, but Profondo Rosso, of course, is like, this is like the mark they set when they started, and from there they got better and better. And like I said, they also really elevated Dawn of the Dead with the soundtrack.
Yes, but yeah, the movie for me, like, it starts so slow, but it's a murder mystery, so of course it's gonna have a slow beginning, and then you have to like start paying attention and figuring out all the clues and stuff. The one thing I like is that they never use an actual officer, a police officer, or a detective to do it. It's always something that's completely away from that. It's a pianist, you know, a jazz musician. That's the main person doing the investigation.
Also, I has to say, you know, that that's also very Italian specific, because, like, you know, in the US you also have like certain problems with the police. In Italy, there's two kind of police forces that are like basically working against each other. So Italy has a very interesting history with not trusting the police.
Yeah, that's why they like, we're not gonna have them as protagonists.
So this is also why in so many Italian comics, like in the fumettis, like Diabolic, etc., the protagonist was actually the one who was against the law.
Yeah, it's just weird how they map it out, because they know detectives can solve mysteries, but somebody who's like not a detective and don't have that experience, they have to learn on the fly. So it's pretty unique that they have regular folks try and do it as opposed to somebody who's experienced.
Yes, and I also really like how the whole movie was set up, because the murder actually, she has done her murdering, and the only thing was that she didn't want to be caught, and then suddenly she's at this parapsychic event, and the psychic on stage can sense there's somebody in the audience who murdered somebody, which in Italy actually surprises me. There's only one person in the audience.
And I like how you get through the movie and you go back to that whole scene and you start to scan the audience to see the murderer if there's in it. Like, the camera purposely tried not to see the face, but I'm just going through everybody. I pause. So the movie does that in a way where you really try and pay attention to every little detail that's thrown at you. Because like I said, with the whole point where he walked right past the murderer, you could easily miss it or not even pay attention to it like he was. So I like that aspect, and of course, Giallo movies, they always got to have the black leather glove.
Yes,
with either a razor or a hatchet, and it's like trademark.
It's really trademark, and also Argento brought that to the next level. Mario Bava really made it a thing, but Dario Argento really brought it into the new era. Back in the day, the new era, of course, and it was interesting, that the hand, when you see the black glove shot, that was Dario Argento's hand actually.
Of course, he got to get himself in there.
Yeah. And this movie, of course, also features Daria Nicolodi, which from this movie on, she fell in love with Dario, and they became a couple for a few years. And this was also the year that Asia Argento was born, then, their daughter.
I didn't get as much from her. Her character Gianna, who she played the reporter and stuff like that. I didn't get as much from her character to the point where she didn't really feel utterly necessary.
Yes, she was also, of course, used to have another suspect in there.
And she was used to help him in the building, which was suspect in itself, because I know she saw the note to go meet him there, but the way she just appeared with him outside and the building on fire, who set the building on fire? You start to think, is she involved in this too? So, but I didn't think the character really added enough for me to really say that she was so important.
I mean, I'm always happy to see her on screen, and she's also becoming in the next stages not only on screen important, but also behind the screen, because she was basically a practicing witch, and the whole plot of Suspiria came from the collaboration of Dario Argento and Daria Claudia. Yes, she sadly passed away. I can't believe it's now 4 years ago.
Yes.
Hey,
right.
Gary B.
What's up, Gary?
Luckily, Dario Argento is still alive. Interesting is also that the movie takes place in Rome, but is mostly shot in Turin. That's Dario Argento said he liked to shoot in Turin because there's nowhere as many Satanists in Europe as in Turin. So the city has a very special flair.
Are we diving into the Giallos, Gary?
Yeah. And when it's when I see beautiful women always, a Giallo is always a good way to go.
Oh yeah, when you watch a Giallo, you guaranteed about at least 4 or 5 different women getting killed. Beautiful women. That's damn, what you got? But
in general, I think that the casting of the movie was also really good. This is also, I think, that was one of the strengths of Italian movie, like European movies back in the day, because you had so many different talents, from Italy, from France, from Britain, also from Germany. So you're getting like this wide range of different acting interpretations. So it's always so you always see familiar faces. Sometimes you see from different movies from other countries.
Yeah, I thought the lead character, David Hemming.
Yeah,
I thought he was really good.
He did a really good job. Wasn't he also in Gladiator? Yeah, I think he was also in Gladiator in 2000.
Yes.
Yeah. It's this one. Hey, Kenneth Burr.
What's up, Kenneth?
Yeah, Gary, you have to watch a lot of Dario Argento movies there. Mostly, like his recent movies, sometimes a week, but he came back with a really good movie recently, so he still has it in him.
Well, like I said, I watched this film and I got the bug, so let me watch Suspiria, man, and I really enjoyed that.
Like I say, with this movie, and Sean already said it, it's a slow burner. He still has not yet figured it out, like, to pace everything perfectly, which is very interesting because this movie is 129 minutes, and his next movie, Suspiria, is not like almost 70 minutes long, like, which is like Suspiria is a very short movie. So this is also why from Profondo Rosso you'll find a lot of international cuts of the movie, not because they cut out the violence, but they cut out, like I said, like a lot of plot elements, especially like with Niccolodi's character, with Gianni, and like some of the more funny scenes, because there's also some funny characters in there, especially with her small car.
Yeah, that was like, God, that piece of junk. He's sinking in the car as he's sitting there. I was like, God.
But personally, I like those scenes because it fleshes out also the character of the protagonist. So
like I said, the only thing that took me out was it switches from English to Italian, and
this is why I recommend to watch it in Italian with English subtitles, because the longest version of the movie only came out in Italy. So those scenes that were cut out in the international releases have never been dubbed in another language.
Yeah. But that was the only thing. I was like, man, let me switch over to the other one because I need to hear it in full.
Yeah.
But what was I about to say? I was gonna bring up something.
Yeah.
Oh, the movie actually starts off with a murder.
Yeah.
Set in the past. And I like how he frames it almost similar to the fact that you thinking it's a woman that's getting stabbed,
and
that you think the child is a girl. But the further you go in the movie, it's like that child couldn't have been a female.
Yeah, I mean, also like the title screen with the theme hits, and you see like the switchblade. You see like the puppet. So good.
Hey, the puppet scene was laugh out loud to me.
That was like
that was like the few images that you see on the net when it comes to this movie. But yet, when it pops out that door, it's like, and you start laughing because he's like, you got fooled there.
Yeah, it's also like a creepy scene, and
it's creepy and funny at the same way.
It's creepier revisited in Phenomena.
But I just love that how certain scenes have some humor to it, but when it comes to the kills, like they're deadly serious.
Yes, and Lucio Fulci, Dario Argento is like a director that when other directors, stop and like let's leave it to interpretation of the audience. Full on, it's like,
yes,
this is happening when you fucking up somebody's face.
Man, that she gave that whole dude a dental surgery, to his teeth. The guy I'm talking about was actually right next to the telepath, who knew of the killer right there in the audience.
Yeah, and the thing is also like with the scenes with the thief, this is also something Dario Argento revisits, and that is very very fantastically done also in Noho Sono, like in Sleepless.
Yeah, I watched Late Night with the Devil.
I want to watch this movie. It's not yet available, sadly, in any German country. I have no idea why. It's available in the UK, but I can't rent it on fucking Amazon with an Austrian IP address.
But yeah, I watched that earlier in the week, man. I enjoyed it. It's another movie it's a slow burn, but and another thing about like when watching Deep Red and you get the character Helga with the telepathy, and like Late Night with the Devil had a similar character, but like man, you could tell that he's a fraud. He like this guy's he's making shit up as he go on with fooling people and stuff. So I was like, this dude's a fraud. But like with Helga, you kind of like believe it, and so of course she met her unfortunate demise in this one.
This is also when Dario really started to get the supernatural more into his movies.
Yes, he really like elevated it with Suspiria, but here he dabbled with telepathy and how somebody can read somebody's mind and know that they're the killers in the room.
And of course, also like the curse of the house in the house of the screaming child. This kids like this children's song is also a very haunting melody in this film. The way it uses, because the music is very great.
And the house scenes, that the setting is very unsettling. Like I love how every shot inside the house is dark. Even during daylight, when they went to the house and it's daylight, inside is completely dark. Like all the windows are boarded up. There's no light whatsoever shining inside there. You going up the stairs and you don't know what you're walking into.
Exactly. Despite having like a very much like a human murderer, this is such a gothic horror scene. And you can totally see that one of Dario Argento's biggest literal idols was, of course, Poe. And this feels very Poe.
It does. And like I said, as a main character, you got to give Marcus props for going back into the house twice. Yeah. It's like, what character would want to go back into that creepy little haunt fest that house is? Because there's just nothing in there, but yet it has this creepy, unsettling vibes when you go inside. It's like you never know when something can attack you, and it did.
I really like how everything comes full circle, basically because he does, he's like as an British chess pianist in Rome. He is like he's like not really like anything like in this game, but then he witnesses like the murder of the psychic, and then it really it really bugs him, and he needs to do something.
Because he almost got captured or killed by the murderer when he was in his own home.
Yeah,
and he noticed that somebody was sneaking in. And he had to like shut the door real quick and stuff, and that's where the murderer says, "I'll get you eventually," and he's like, "Man, somebody's out to kill me." Because one of the things that the reporter did was put his photo in the front paper, so now everybody fucking knows that this guy, was around the scene of the crime.
And that's like the cool thing because the killer's motives are basically just to hide the murder she did like all these years ago when she killed her husband. So when all these things came up, she killed the psychic couldn't tell, and then she just killed everybody who was close to unravel the case.
Except one person. The person that is actually friends with Marcus, drunken Carlo.
Carlo, who's not only drunk, but also
he won't say it.
Also the effort.
Yes.
As he describes himself. And this was actually also very groundbreaking, in the 70s to have like this character in there who clearly had a traumatic experience as a kid and therefore became like a drunk, but is also into trans prostitutes or prostitutes. So this is something that was even in Europe in the 70s not very commonly portrayed in movies. And very interesting is also that the actress who plays the prostitute is actually a woman who's playing like a man.
Yeah. I actually thought that was quite the revealing thing, like you said. It's shocking, but at the same time, it adds to that character, and one thing about these mysteries, like when you see a character in the beginning and then you don't see him for long stretches, then that's when it pops in your mind, like, oh, because when you see the murder of Helga, the criminal is walking away and Carlo pops up on the side witnessing the murderer walking away. So he's the only one that witnessed the actual person who murdered Helga. But, because he's drunk and nobody, like, well, you can't rely on him. But then as the movie goes on, you start to question.
He's like, and also there's also like a very good reason why the murderer doesn't want to kill Carlo.
Yeah. So, like he was a pretty interesting character right from the start. And
he was also the actor did a fantastic job.
Yeah. And him and Marcus like had this friendship. Who would have thought Marcus would be friends with the person behind it?
Yeah.
But they have this like little bro friendship and stuff like that. But his mother, we won't reveal yet, but his mother is like so kooky and out of whack and stuff. It is like, man, like Carlos. No wonder Carlos so messed up because his mother's so crazy and demented herself that Carlos is like, man, fuck it, let me just start drinking and shit.
Yeah,
but things starts to unravel, and later on, where you start to notice like things ain't what they seem to be.
Let's just say that Carlo has the best death scene.
Oh my god! Both of them had great deaths, to be honest.
Yeah.
Both of their heads really like.
Exactly, and this is like in the end of the movie. I think it's like this is why you don't buy quality jewelry.
No. No. The head trauma in this film is severe.
Yes. The Argento and heads is like
like Pulci and eyes. It's like good.
Exactly, yeah.
Because the other death scene is when they went after the person who actually written the children's stories.
Yeah.
And that was the only scene we saw of her. And she got her head rammed into the wall, and then the murderer turned on scalding hot water, and she proceeded to get her face burnt. And I was like, damn. And
she almost, like with her last almost was able to reveal the murder.
Yeah, because when how hot water like fogs up the whole room, the glass mirror on the wall, she was gonna. Before she died, she was going to write down through the fog who the murderer was, and she only got part way through.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think that when you really analyze the movie, a lot makes sense. I think when you watch it for the first time, not everything is very accessible to put one and one together.
This is the type of movie, again, you can't just watch it once and be done with it.
Yeah.
When I watched it, I went back and I took certain scenes and I watched it, and then I started putting things together more. I was able to put things together on the first, but I needed to reaffirm myself that these things match up.
Absolutely, and parts of it is like also because the movie is not perfectly paced.
Yeah.
For example, like what in my opinion is like a perfectly paced and constructed giallo is actually by Lucio Fulci. You know, when I was a kid, I was a teenager, I always thought, oh, Fulci is more into the visual style. And then when I watched for the first time a giallo by Fulci, and it was such a perfect story. And in the end, like you had this really surprising twist is a perversion story.
Oh yeah.
Perversion story by Fulci is a masterful giallo. Of course, with the beautiful Marissa Mell in there, which who is from the same town that I live in.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to watching that because I know when it comes to Dario, I enjoy Tenebrae. You know,
Tenebrae is fantastic.
I enjoyed that film, even though I have my little quirks about it, but you know, it's got great kills in there, and of course John Paxson is in it.
Yeah,
you know, so but I always enjoyed that film. But Suspiria was a super. And one thing about Suspiria and Argento movies, is the fucking imagery, the colors, the use of certain rooms, and the lighting.
Yeah.
That movie to me, and I watched the remake.
The remake is so shit. No, the Suspiria remake is horrible.
It's like there's certain things in the remake I do like, but the original was like it can't be topped.
I watched it in the cinema and I felt raped. I was raped by this.
Hey, you felt like you was being ripped apart like Olga was in the dance scene.
Yeah. Yeah, I like last week I had like a doctor's appointment and I got my ass checked and I didn't feel as raped as when I watched Suspiria.
Like I said, I'm not
the
gonna
the remake is horrible.
I'm not gonna sit here and say the remake is great. It's nowhere near Dario's version. I like certain parts of it though. I
was. You know,
I'm like, not gonna sit here and disagree with you.
It's like really very rare that I came out of a film, and I'm so pissed off. I think there's like 2 times when a movie really got me emotional because I loved the original so much. It was like with Predator, with that Predator as the film, and with the Suspiria remake. There's like 2 times I like when my girlfriend had to calm me down after the cinema.
Like I said, man, the original is classic.
Yeah.
The remake is, for me, it's just okay. But I know when it comes to remakes, we frown face the remakes because it's like no, especially when the remake is a classic.
Dario Argento said
the original is a classic.
Dario Argento said when Miramax bought the remake, is like he will fight to tooth and nails that he will never bring the remake out. Sadly, he lost that case, but he was very pissed off.
Like I said, it is what it is. You know, it's like you don't want the shit to be remade, but they're gonna do it.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, also, you know, I should have just ignored it. But I think what really pained me why I was so angry was because the movie was of like 3 hours long, and it was like
that was my biggest problem with the film. It's like, did it need to be so fucking long?
Yeah.
The original had a great pacing to it, you know, and it had the colors, the lighting, the effects. That's what made the original so great. The new one is dull.
It's yeah, I know. It's like they move it into Berlin, and Berlin is like the grace of grace from a colorful setting, and this is like when it's like, oh, this was they're like subverting the expectations again.
Like I said, I like certain parts of it, but as a movie as a whole, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's a great.
The only thing that I liked was the casting, so I also think that was like very wasted. Yeah, that's a good. That's also like the thing is, you know, like especially like with the Predator, I had to come home and immediately watch the original, like to have like a therapy.
The original is the best, and Predator 2 is just as good.
Yeah.
You know, it's like those two Predator movies, and that's it for me.
Even Predators is like enjoyable, but that Predator was.
But again, back to Deep Red, like the suspense, the build up, the characters. Carlos and his mother end up becoming a huge part of the second act.
Yes.
And when you start putting things together, like Carlos is in your mind. But even before the reveal of Carlos, who showed up at the end ready to kill, you're like, it can't be Carlos because the murderer just walked right by him.
Exactly. What I also really enjoyed is, you know, when Daly was in that house and he discovered, hey, there's like this painting behind the facade. That and like he discovered it slowly, and when he thought, oh, that's it, like the kid. And then he walked out, and then another piece broke off, and then it was actually another person.
Yes.
That scene was so fucking good. I loved that one. And
again, you got to love the tension of just that scene. You think in your mind you've seen enough horror movies that something's going to happen.
Yeah.
The only thing that happened was glass fell off the top and hit him in the face and cut him. That was the only thing that happened throughout that. But in your mind, you thinking something worse gonna happen. But when he went back the second time to discover that one of the windows was boarded up and that he had to get through access to that room.
There's a secret room in there.
It's a secret room. And he busted down the wallpaper and sure enough, when he scanned through with the flashlight, you see a decayed corpse.
Yes, and this is like, and you see all the room like it's still like a Christmas tree, like on the Christmas day when this person was murdered.
It's like, oh shit. And he starts backing up slowly. I'm like, bro.
That scene is so
I'm getting the fuck out of here quick, fast.
Especially is also, you know, I mean the audacity, you know, of killing your husband in front of your kid. And then, you know, afterwards it's just like, you know what, let's build another wall, and as if this never happened.
Just close that whole room off.
And then of course the kid is traumatized and starts painting the scenery on the wall. Then the mother puts something like over it, so it's like, so nobody can see it. And then he starts like painting it. It's cool, so they move, so the house becomes like this this abandoned house. And then later like a German writer moves in later, who fell out of a window.
So it's crazy, man. It's crazy when things starts to fall in line. And then another thing was the person who owned the building and stuff, you know, he gave him the key to go in. He had a daughter. And that was kind of odd. When he slapped the daughter for what she did and she just kind of no-sold it. I was like, Jesus. And she was like, oh, he does that, you know, he's crazy and stuff. And I'm like, well, damn, that's pretty weird on those two.
Yeah,
and she had a picture that she drew that was similar to the picture on the wall.
Yeah, because that's like one of the supernatural aspects that he just played with, but didn't really dive too much into. That you could basically also interpret in, you know, when this happened, it left like a certain energy like in the house that the trauma like of Carlo also like goes to every other kid like in the house. This is also why it became like the house of the screaming child, you know, when people were like even later all these years like heard like this
that was another thing where the girl and her father, you start to think of that flashback at the beginning of the film. You're thinking maybe it's them, you know, that he's trying to like, yeah, I locked off this place and stuff like that, and you think is that because like I said, you don't know what that child was in that flashback. You think it's a girl, but it could be a boy as well. So you thinking maybe they're involved in this.
Yes, and this is something I also really laugh about this movie, and what I laugh about a good giallo, and also what a good crime or a thriller needs is like this. You just think like who did it, like this classic of who did it, and then not being so lazy and just introduce like a new person at the end.
It's red herring.
But yeah, like I really like that this movie had like a killer that if you early on already like saw a clear building of the movie, you already knew who did it, but where you can also really put the puzzle pieces together and don't have like a fake out at the end.
Yeah, because when we get Carlos showing up, in your mind it's like, I knew he was involved, because again, these movies kind of show you that when a character doesn't appear for a long stretch and things starts to come together, you're like, oh man, it was him. But you know it couldn't have been him that did the first murder.
Exactly,
but he could have participated in the other murder. Yeah, he could have participated in the other murders. And that's the thing, like, yeah, he was involved, but he's not the main guy. And you also think when you see him that it could have been his partner that we found out. Like, again, it's like the movie, like it throws you all these red herrings, and it's not that person.
Exactly. It's
that's a good mystery movie when you got all these red herrings, but it's totally not.
I really want to have like another mystery movie that really plays with a lot of red herrings and then has like a very satisfying ending. They rarely do this anymore.
Yeah, because remember when we talked about that movie with William Dafoe and Gregory Hines and Fred Ward? It like that movie was they failed with their red herrings because it's like they didn't utilize it well. And you could just tell that it was going to be Fred Ward. Whereas this one, you can't tell because there was so many different characters interjected that we don't see for long stretches that you can say, oh, it's that person, it's that person, it's that person.
Of course, except if you look into the mirror. But otherwise, it's really, I love movies that don't think the audience is stupid, and Deep Red really does it. Deep Red really gives like the audience the benefit of the doubt, and that I very much enjoy.
Yeah, but Carlos went out in a grotesque way. Beautiful.
There was, that's the thing is, every time I watch this scene, I have to think about O.J. Simpson in the next. I don't know if it's okay to say rest in peace.
No, don't. But the first thing when OJ died, the first thing I went and looked at was the New Jack clip from Smoky Mountain Wrestling, man.
I can say that rest in peace, New Jack. There's one person I would never disrespect, and it's New Jack, because even in that he would come back and give it a receipt.
Hey, New Jack is a horror movie in itself. He would challenge Candyman and not give a fuck.
I still love the post he had with Hogan. He's like, Hulk Hogan, I am dead.
But yeah, Carlos went out in a gruesome way. And then when we get the reveal of the main killer, which is his mother, and the whole backstory, what led to her killing the father, Carlos's father, was he wanted to throw her in the insane asylum because she was crazy.
Apparently, like he was insane, and the husband was right.
I regret marrying this bitch. Like,
and this is an important lesson for all the dudes out there. You know, crazy fucks very good, but you never tell crazy it's crazy.
No,
never. And also, even though they fuck good, don't fuck with crazy.
He fucked around and found out.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because he turned his back and she pulled out that knife and stabbed him in the back.
Yeah.
And I like how he pulled the knife out and threw it in front of Carlo, who was the young boy, to tie into that flashback. And that's what led to her, being very defensive of her son.
Which of course is also like, when she paid later, like, put up a wall. So this murder scene is also like of course, like a Poe reference.
Yeah. So, you get her, she tried to attack Marcus. Marcus countered and I was like, come on, Marcus. Like after that first attack, you could have took her out, but you started to run. And that plays into the whole thing with the reporter. Fuck, you lost your fucking arm wrestling thing. Like, what the fuck, bro? You talking about men are stronger than women, and then you get beat in the arm wrestling contest with her, and I'm like,
And this is another important lesson. Never work yourself into a shoot, brother.
He worked himself into a shoot. And he got lucky against the mother at the end. Because he was tripping and stumbling and all that. So
yeah.
I'm like, bro, you.
Oh, and that scene was also gnarly when she like.
Yeah, when her chain got caught in the elevator thing, and he.
Oh, that was so good. Yeah. Oh, but it was also fantastic scenes, and the beautiful thing also in 4K, all these killing scenes still hold up.
Yeah. And like she met her untimely, grotesque death just like her son. So to me, I like both of their death scenes were just great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see all the head trauma they gave everybody else, you suffer the repercussions of that.
Exactly.
So I enjoyed the film.
What goes around comes around.
Yes, exactly, man. Like you do unto others, it happens to you.
Yeah. And the final shot also so stunning, when with her beheaded and the blood runs on the floor, and then Marcus like sees himself like in the blood.
Yeah.
And the goblin theme hits. Yeah, that's also the thing is it's a fantastic giallo. The goblin theme elevated even further.
I swear, man. For me, it was distracting because every time the song comes on, I was like, yeah. I'm getting hyped.
What I also always laugh is, when you sometimes watch these Italian movies for the first time, then you realize, oh, this has been sampled like in a hip hop song.
Yes, yeah, bro. My mind was like, man, if you put some more drum patterns on it, and somebody spit some bars over that.
Yeah.
I might go on the Who Sample and see who sampled this song.
Yeah, somebody must have sampled this.
Somebody had to. Because the music is funky. I'll give it that. Every time it comes up, I'm nodding my head. I'm like, yeah.
There's also like a German extreme metal band, Eisregen. They do like a lot of songs about like Italian horror movies, and they also have like song Tiefrot, like Deep Red, which basically is all about the plot of the movie. So that's also like a really fantastic band.
You know, when you got a great band like Goblin and other people who do these music, you strike a nerve in everybody when that song comes on, and it's like, man, this sticks with you. Just like when we talk about the Beyond and how the music and the beyond sticks with you so much that when you listen to a hip hop song, like, oh shit, that's the song from the movie.
Yeah.
So the instant credibility that the song has resonates with a lot of people who watch it. And I know vinyl collectors who have those soundtracks.
Yeah, there's I also have like Profondo Rosso, like here my vinyls collect, and there's a reason why these are like re-released over time, because this is just perfect music, and it really resonates. It hits like a spot in you, and especially with Suspiria, when you watch it and you hear that.
Bro, that was like the sound effects of the voices and the background music, so beautiful.
I mean, I remember like it was so funny when it was a few years ago, and I walked at night and I walked past by like a profile and they had like this red green light, and I filmed myself and then put like the Suspiria song in the background.
Bro, that the music
I didn't go into the profile.
The music in Suspiria was really whereas Deep Red, it almost made you like you're pumped up because somebody's about to die. Whereas Suspiria, you're actually creeped out.
Yeah, was also they also did a fantastic soundtrack for Sleepless, which is one of the later changes. Like his last really good giallo before he did his most recent one. And Claudio Simonetti from Goblin also did a lot of soundtracks by himself. He did one for a sword and sorcery movie from Lucio Fulci, like Conquest, which is so strange because of course Conquest is a sword and sorcery movie, and then you have like this. It's almost like this poppy soundtrack. It's so crazy, but it works somehow.
I'm putting that on the list. Conquest. Like I said,
Conquest is a movie we gotta talk in the future. I love Conquest.
Man. Anything sword and sorcery, fantasy, all that, man, I'm watching.
Awesome.
Like I said, the last 3 weeks I've just been watching TV shows and old TV shows and movies. Tales from the Dark Side. I found The Hitchhiker, with something that somebody brought up on Instagram last year. I think it's Dystopia Video, and I found that, so I've been watching that.
The one with Rutger Hauer?
No, that's the movie. This is the TV series.
The TV series. Okay, yeah. Well, the Hitchhiker.
The Hitch. Oh my God, that's a movie we gotta talk about too, man.
Yeah, that's
Jeff.
Actually, Hey, Jeff. Yeah, The Hitchhiker. It's so crazy because this is a movie that is very tough to watch because you hate Rutger Hauer's character so much.
Bro, he is so sinister. But that's what makes him so great. It's an uneasy film, but that that man knows how to make uneasy as fuck. And so The Hitcher is a movie we got definitely add to the list.
Hitcher,
But I've been just watching a lot of stuff like that. So, but I can't wait till when we talk Enemy Mine. That's gonna be the next film after
already the Blu-ray here, so looking forward to watching. We're probably gonna but necessarily we have like again 1 week of pause. But hey, I'm gonna meet Jason Southern Comic Geek in Vienna. It's gonna be fun. It's crazy. I think it's like to because of course for me it's like the first time to meet somebody from community.
And it's a big thing, for Southern Comic Geek to fly over there and to meet you and all that stuff. That's a big
of course he doesn't fly to Vienna to meet me.
I'm just saying, like he's coming there, and it's like you can't pass up the opportunity to meet somebody in the community. So
already told him, hey, these are the comic book shops in Vienna that you want to visit.
That's going to be great, man. That's going to be great. Looking forward to the photo and stuff like that. I know we will have a show, the Comic Call Crew. First of all, shout out to Al and Larry. They've been doing their thing on the X Factor.
Al, we love you.
We love Al, man. you're in our hearts. But shout out to those two. They've been killing it. They had a fantastic episode last night talking about X-Men, and we'll be back this Saturday night with part 2 of Black Perspectives and Black Comics with Rico. So we're gonna have the Heroes After Dark. They're gonna join us for that as well.
Also next week I can get Jason finally to sign my Last Dragon DVD.
Oh, really?
Because it's Eddie Arcadia.
Don't do that, man. Don't do that. Save that signature for if Time Mac episode about to be out. Save that for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I got coming up on mine.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm looking forward to all the movies we're gonna talk in the future. We're for sure gonna talk like the Iron Claw. That movie I watched like right after WrestleMania. That movie hit so hard. Like, I'm not somebody who cries a lot in movies. After the Iron Claw, I cried
like I said, I shed tears watching the Von Erichs documentaries and stuff. So I already know Iron Claw is going to be devastating.
And that movie, and especially like the ending, it hits so hard.
And I've been watching like Dark Side of the Ring. I watched a recent episode with Sensational Sherry. God, that was sad.
I don't watch the Dark Side of the Ring episodes because personally I don't like how they portray wrestling. I'm having like the Ric Flair opinion of it, that they're like too sensationalist with a lot of things. Of course, with a little bit light. I watch sometimes the reaction videos, of course, by Cornette, and I
just want to watch the Sensational Sherry and the Chris Adams, Gentleman Chris Adams video.
My favorite one where I watched all the reaction videos. As you know, I'm a big WCW guy, big NWO guy, and in my opinion, the best hype man in WCW was Buff Bagwell. And he and having your mother shaping your balls.
Man, I completely forgot about him mocking Ernest the Cat Miller when Wrestling Bios covered "We Live in the War." I was like, wait, they did this shit.
But I think Buff Bagwell. Nobody. I think that I love Scott Steiner, of course. Big Bubba Pump always with me.
Unhinged promos.
Yeah, but I don't think that Scott Steiner would have been so over without Buff Bagwell as the hype man.
Yeah, Buff was a great hype man.
Because Buff has the stuff.
Well, sadly he didn't have it when he went to the WWF. They like, get that stuff.
And it's like,
they did him dirty, but he didn't do himself no favors neither.
I know that too, but they did everybody dirty. I know, like, Booker went through it and got rewarded in the long term, but
I still get soured over that Triple H match. Like, that shit still sours the hell.
I'm a big Triple H mark, but still, that one was a little bit where I'm like, the WCW guy in me and the Booker fan, because, you were there and you saw, like, Harlem Heat, and you really saw Booker becoming
Hogan, we coming for you.
But yeah, like he's like one of the few who managed to break the glass ceiling in WCW, and this says everything about him as a workhorse, him as somebody who is not afraid of the challenge. I love Booker T, and I'm so happy also, like, when I watch NXT weekly, just to hear Booker on commentary. Man, it's not like in TNA when he gives like somebody beating and commentates it himself, which was one of the most fantastic scenes in TNA ever. But yeah, I love Booker for me, and that's for me also like why NXT for me is a little bit the WCW vibe, and this is what I love about it. Like the good days of WCW. We're not talking about the late 90s.
99 is horrible.
Yeah. Fuck Vince Russo. A shit stain.
But yeah, we'll go ahead and end it off here. It's been great having this show after 3 weeks hiatus.
Finally,
you gotta figure out what video to send next week.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think. Like, we're getting close to the Conan anniversary, right?
Yeah, it's in June, I think. I mean, no, May. It's in May.
Is it May or June?
Yeah, I think it's.
Because I know Conan the Destroyer was the first video we did together, and that's our anniversary video.
Yeah, I have to check. But yeah, it's. You know what's the craziest part about downloading the old videos and sending them to you? Where I'm like, like should I send Copland? But we just done this like a few weeks ago, and like, it's been 2 years.
It's been 2 years, bro. And then rewatching the over the top, I was like, man, we gotta get Tim back on the show, man. I love when we did the shows with Tim.
It was fun, and I had the silliest hair.
So revisiting these videos do bring back a little nostalgia when we have certain guests.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. Like, we also have to, of course, like the Sarah videos we have to re-upload.
Yeah. What the fuck is the next Fire Nights? Like, good lord, man.
I already put it off the list. I didn't enjoy the comics. Like I also wrote with Sarah where I just can't get into them. It's like also the recent one shot was like a fucking Disney I didn't even pick it up. Prince Story was that was horrible, and also like I don't really think that the plot of the main one is going anywhere. Maybe it's because of the writer, because it feels like too fairy tale-ish. He did Fables.
Yeah.
It's not the Fire and Ice world, and I put it off the pull list, and I gave like issue number 1, 2 in the one shot to a local library. So like, here, have it, give it to somebody. But I like no.
And with that in mind, I'm with you on that. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and sign off.
Yeah.
Thanks for everybody that showed up. Gary B, props to you. Oh yeah. Matter of fact, let me show this real quick.
Ooh.
I never showed it on live, but I did read your book, Gary. I enjoyed it. It was a very good read.
It's good because I still have it here, but I haven't read it yet.
It's a pretty, like, I read it within like maybe an hour or so, but it's a pretty good read. It's reads through. Yeah. Really enjoyed it.
I know, but my problem is I started reading Moby Dick, the original. The original version in English from the 19th century. So every free time I'm like going to
find something else. But yeah, I took it to work and I read it, and I really enjoyed the book. Really enjoyed the read. It was a good read.
But I
shout out to Gary B. If y'all have not bought Need by Gary B, definitely check it out. It's on Amazon, and you can get it from Gary B. He's right there in the chat. Check out his page. He does a great YouTube channel. And
I'm gonna be on his on channel very soon, because we already, as I said, we have to do a stream again. But yeah, don't be a bad friend as I am and read it.
All right, y'all. Shout out to Gary B, Kenneth Bird. Thanks to everybody that showed up, man. Love y'all guys. Peace out.
See you in 2 weeks.
Wait a minute.